Hey everyone, it's Brett Hornby here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And here, panning around where I first got off the elevator. I wasn't able to get an elevator going up, didn't get a good shots, and I forgot to press record, so I'll try going down. But I am up the CN Tower in Toronto. Yes, finally. Well, I've been here long enough that I deserve to make a trip up to CN Tower. Well, both times I've been to Toronto. Well, here's the Billy Bishop Airport. Yeah, the city center airport has one of the best landing views that of all the airports that I've been to. So there's the airport and the runway right there, and Lake Ontario and on the Toronto Islands. This is where first views I got. And you look down, there's the Gardiner Expressway and Rogers Centre, where the Toronto Blue Jays play. They catch a couple games there when I was back in August. As you turn around, you could see the lines through the sunshine. Looking down, you could see BMO Field. That's where I was back in August when we caught the football game. Watched the Toronto Calgary Stampeders. Fortunately, the Toronto Argonauts had the better of my Calgary Stampeders and eventually went on the Grey Cup. I'll bring on to the next story when I get around to Scotiabank Arena. That's looking west down the Gardiner towards Toronto and Mississauga. I know that's where the bus that I rode from Union Station down to Gardiner took me to Niagara Falls. And they said there's a time capsule here that they'll open in 2076, which will be the 100th anniversary of when this whole tower opened. You can see some summer winter birds. There's been a lot more of these Canadiana flying around. Let's take a look around. This is the main observatory that I'm in. They say we're up to 114 stories high up. Here's an idea that how high up I am in the city of Toronto. So you see more of the waterfront properties. I know that's the Coca-Cola Coliseum. That's actually where the Toronto Marlies play. Their American Hockey League affiliate, just like back at home. The Calgary Flames have their farm team right in the city, but share different arenas. So I just want to keep working around movies and subjects. Around much of the observatory, you see window ceilings. So I'm going to continue on. I mean, this is looking west. I'm not as familiar with all the the landmarks in Toronto yet, but I mean, you can look around here, Front Street, Spadina Avenue. That's the one on streets that I've gone up and down a couple times. I've been to Toronto because hostel that I stayed in is on Augusta and Spadina. So Spadina, the 510 TTC route got me up and down here. So, kind of working around. Looking towards the northwest. And I definitely picked one of the better days to be in Toronto, part of my city pass. And you definitely see all the different skylines. You almost see almost mini downtowns. As like back at home where you got downtown and then that's it. It's a conglomerate of communities. I know they call this the 6 because there's 6 communities around this happens to be Toronto, where you got Toronto, York and Old York, Old Toronto, all that. You can look down towards, there's the Ontario Art of Design, equivalent to now it's called the Alberta University Arts. So let's continue panning around on the observatory. You can see, the CBC headquarters down there. And then I did find whereabouts. I had to zoom in 30 times, but at least I'll have a picture of it on my Instagram. But I was able to zoom in and find the exact building where my hostel is in Kensington. At 30 times zoom with my smartphone, which is quite incredible. But yeah, this is now looking north. The south is looking south for Lake Ontario. You can pan around. You can see Nathan Phillips Square ahead, and as well as Dundas and Young Square. And then you got all the financial institution buildings here. You can almost get one shot. All the 5 major banks in Canada: RBC, TD, BMO, and then Scotia. And then there's a couple CIBC buildings more towards the east. So yeah, you can see some of the glass ceiling. I'd say it's definitely a lot busier here for a Wednesday compared to Skyline Tower in Niagara Falls on a Saturday. I just can only imagine how busy this place is in the summer, where I didn't have the time to go for. And if you can zoom out of the buildings, you can kind of see, I know the Don Valley Parkway and Expressway is where it takes you out to the outskirts of Toronto. This is going towards Scarborough, which would be east of the city of Toronto. But yeah, they have a couple of cafes. The elevator is still lower. I'll show you what's in the lower floor, but it's actually not as developed right now because there's some renovations being done. So let's continue pan around and point out some other areas of interest. Once I get around the subjects, yeah, there's some more open space out here when we looking east. Yeah, this is now more of an east view here. Well, here is where you can see a couple of CIBC buildings being constructed. Down there's the old Union Station, and then the Fort York Hotel, one of the premier, lodging hotels. Same as it was built around the train line. Similar to, let's say, Banff Springs at home. I've been to Union Station a few times. That's where eventually I caught my bus to get to Niagara Falls, and then nearby you can see where the Scotiabank logo is there. I keep still calling it the Air Canada Centre, just spoken as, because originally it was called the Air Canada Centre, where the home of the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Toronto Raptors play. Well, I was there on Monday when the Calgary Flames were taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs, and ultimately they got the last laugh as the Maple Leafs, or they were branded as the St. Patrick's. They won 6-2. So going back to the I brought luck and the Grey Cup. What if we saw the Toronto Maple Leafs win the Stanley Cup? And after I watched them, but so that's the arena right there, and you can see the Gardner Expressway, which kind of cuts through downtown, but it's all on a ramp to get around downtown, which kind of feels similar to how, I forget what it's called. I think it's the Cambie in Vancouver. Don't quote me on that, but it's just the expressway that goes through Vancouver. It just has that same similar feeling, but you can see the Toronto Islands, and it's not as jumping right now, being it's late March. Down there you can kind of see the roundhouse and the railway museum. That's how I say, keep working way around subjects. And actually down there you can also see some streetcars, authentic Toronto streetcars, but this is 114 stories up, which is kind of spectacular and scary at the same time. I don't like ice, but I feel fine being up here. But this is Lake Ontario, and you can actually kind of see we're high just enough you can see the curvature of the Earth, which is beauty. And these Great Lakes are so big in Ontario that you're almost thinking you're at an ocean coast, but this is Lake Ontario, and it's just stunning. So continue on. This is one attraction I will do later, is the top. So I'll grab my ticket when I get that, but I'll show you the at least what I could see in the lower level. But just like all the attractions I'm doing during my March break, is I've just been savoring them. You know, trying to taking the nice views and see the city. And this is why I needed a part two, so I had more time to do this. And once again, getting back to the Billy Bishop Airport, which is named after, if I recall, a World War I Army pilot. There's definitely a lot of documentation on Billy Bishop, and Toronto has an opportunity here if they can ever expand this runway to make it handle more larger jets. It'd be nice to not have to have as much traffic at Pearson, but I love this little airport for what it is. It gets you in, see the view, and let's say for leave for Calgary, you can't fly non-stop. I had to fly in out of Ottawa, but I say the detours is worth it. So heading back to where I started, see Rogers Centre, where the Toronto Blue Jays play. Obviously, the season hasn't started yet. The roof is closed, but has a retractable roof. And this is Billy Bishop. So I think the next video I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at the lower observatory, or at least there's some of the glass floor. And how about before I close out, let's watch a plane leave Billy Bishop. As you can see, it's coming out for takeoff. Look at that. As I say, this is my preferred airport when I go to Toronto. So I just had to capture that bonus footage of the plane leaving. So let's also meet you down at the lower observatory. Well, I'm back. Now this is the lower observatory of the CN Tower, and you're going to quickly see a lot of it is under renovations right now. So this is going to be a shorter walkthrough compared to the main observatory. But as you see, about the same vantage point, just a little lower. This is where you have the Billy Bishop City Center Airport. And you can see Memo Field and then the Gardner Expressway. This will be going west and around towards the Totopoke and the Saga. So I say that's where I went, going that way and around Lake Ontario. If you look at the map of Ontario, where eventually I got to Niagara Falls. But they do have some of the glass floor around here, and I think part of it is under development. And I know that I saw some videos that they had some double glass floor. As you can see up, I'll show you once I get back up before I get ready for the going to the top. But yeah, here's the glass floor in CN Tower. I don't look heights, but at least I can walk on it. My feet are on it right now. Just looking down at the Ripley's Aquarium. I was there yesterday as they're recording. It was one heck of a sight. You could see my Instagram with all the shots there. But I could dare walk on this glass floor and have that in the Calgary Tower back at home, but it's not as high I'm going to call this the Artist. And then out here, I think it's under development, the Atmosphere, it's called. Kind of gives me flashbacks to Skyline Tower, as there's actually a small outdoor section, although a lot of it still seems to be under development. So once I get my in here, so now I'm walking in the kind of the outdoor areas. You can see the vents, feel the breeze, hear the city noises. However, it's nice to not get those sudden whoosh winds that happened when I was at Skyline Tower in Niagara Falls. As you can see, there's the Union Station, Scotia Bank Arena. It's not going to be too much more to walk, or I'm allowed to walk. But this looks like, I'm not too sure if they're going to do this all around or part of it. But at least this section lets you just get out and get some fresh air. And it looks like they're developing up this lower part of the observatory of CN Tower. And you can kind of see, not sure what that glass dome right there, but I know that one thing that Toronto has that's different than Calgary, but the same way to connect all the buildings downtown, is in Calgary we have the plus 15, where it connects the buildings downtown by walking up in the plus 15. Well, here in Toronto, they have this thing called the path, where they have the buildings to walk underneath. Where eventually, because there's a underpath network that I found underneath Union Station, you know, I saw the main part last August where the trains are, but then I saw the bus terminal and how to connect to Scotia Bank Arena. So this will kind of just conclude the lower observatory part of CN Tower, at least the part that they let us walk around. Can't do a full 360 like it did in the main observatory, but I'm going to get ready to pick out a time and make my way to the top, which is called, they call it the top, the Skypod. They said the main observatory here are 114 stories high. Well, apparently from there to the top, that's equivalent to another 33-story building, and just brings you all the staggered numbers. So I just want to see what the views are like up that high, but I'll take a little break and I'll make another video clip to show you the top when I get up there. So I'll see you there. Well, I'm back on the main observatory. These are the camera views of the the edge walk. They actually, it's not in season right now. They had it briefly open during March break in Ontario last week, but I ain't going to do that. I missed the time capsule. But it looks like they had a double glass floor. As you can see, you got this glass floor in the main observatory. Walk across, you can still see Ripley's on the observatory deck below, but it's all under renovations right now. But so I just wanted to quickly show you that. But one thing I'm going to do is go up to the top and show you there's more to the CN Tower. As you can see, well, this is in French now, but you got the viewer here, which is the main observatory, and then there's that little pod at the top there. Yeah, I'm going to be paying an extra $11 to go 33 stories higher just to see what's up there. Why not? I've flown halfway across the country. You got to do that. But that's just something you may not know, that there's addition to the CN Tower. So I'll pay my $11 to go up to the top and see what's up there. Hey everyone, it's Brett Hornby here, and welcome to the top. That's what they call it, the CN Tower Skypod. Well, this is what you get for another $11 Canadian. This view, as this is the initial view coming out from the elevator. It's just a metal elevator shaft, so there was no show or anything. So this is looking west, and you could see Rogers Center even higher up. They got the exact numbers, 447 meters high. Well, you could see below there, that was the observatory that was at, the main observatory. So this whole pod area is equivalent to being another 33 stories higher to, have some staggering numbers, but it's a lot narrower of a, I should say, walkway around here. Everything's a lot steeper, but this is right before the antenna on the top of the CN Tower, and give you an idea that this is 447 meters high, and they say the whole structure is 553.3 meters to be exact, that the whole antenna is 100 meters higher to get to the very, very top. But I could say this is looking north towards York area, and I'm going to say it's just a different view altogether. And even not as high as I am, I'm looking from a sea level point of view, as I meant to say, that despite being this high here in Toronto, I'm still much, much lower compared to where I am back home in Calgary, because sea level on average around Calgary is roughly 1,100 meters. So I'm going to say still a lot higher up back at home when I'm stationary, but I mean, these views are definitely stunning, and realizing that now I'm in the pod of the CN Tower, and you can see it's 4 p.m. Eastern time where I am, and you can see the shadow of the CN Tower. So you could say roughly, if I'm going to point it out, there's the observatory. That little pod thing up there, that's the top that I'm in right now. Something to take a look at when you see in the tower. I'm going to say that's the Fairmount York and Union Station, where the shadow is right now, as it's rush hour in Toronto right now. And I say different view of seeing the Scotia Bank Arena. But remember, it's the Scotia Bank Arena, not the Air Canada Centre, but same building, different name. You can see the Don Valley Expressway going through the outskirts and into Scarborough. I know with my city pass that I bought for the 4 attractions. This is attraction 2 that I'm on right now. Yesterday I did go to the Ripley's, which is right next door to CN Tower, and then the next 2 attractions I'm planning on doing is Casa Loma and the Royal Ontario Museum, but the zoo is a part of it. A combination of running out of time, and the zoo is way out there in the suburbs. It's going to take me an hour 45 to get there on TTC, so I'm going to skip that, but I'll have my money's worth either way. But getting back to the CN Tower and the Skypod, you can see the waterfront. This place is definitely more lively in the summer, but as you can see, the roundhouse, there's Ripley's. You can see the bit of the Ripley's aquarium that I was at yesterday. And they'll say that's the observatory that's covering half of it, where the main observatory is. And it's just stunning to think that this is 33 stories higher from that. And I believe still in 2025 that the CN Tower is now still considered the highest freestanding structure in the Western Hemisphere. Don't quote me on that, but it's how they categorize buildings and that. But it's still a huge iconic tower that I'm going to say it's worth going. For me, coming halfway across the country, why not spend the few extra bucks to make the extra, trek up here? I don't like heights, and heights do make me a little uneasy, but I feel somewhat okay here. But this is just the elevator lobby. It takes you up right till they call it the top, and you can see. I guess they got a pendulum thing here. Must be a calm day because not feeling any wind up here. Because you gotta remember, with these taller structures, you need to have a wider base in the bottom so they can stabilize winds. And I can only imagine if Calgary decided to build a tower like this in Calgary, where would they build it? And how would they account for Chinook winds? And I'm going to say it was windy when I was at Niagara Falls in the Skyline Tower outside part, so I couldn't record out there, but I could here. But yeah, this is the stunning view. You got the Roundhouse, Rogers Center, and the Observatory. Let's just soak that in for a sec, and then seeing the Gardiner Expressway. This is the top from the CN Tower. Traffic non-standstill, and I guess that's Toronto traffic from the city's largest city. But I'm gonna say I love visiting here. I don't know if I would live here just because of the busyness, the cost, and also just can never get used to the humidity. But I'm glad, despite what happened at the hockey game on Monday, where my Flames lost 6-2. Toronto's been great. Got a couple more days to go, and I'm going to say this is definitely a great day to make the view up the CN Tower. And I just love the fact that back at home, I have a tower as well to go up whenever I want in the Calgary Tower. But I just say I like the Skyline Tower. I've been to the Harbor Center, the Lookout in Vancouver. And I'm hoping if I get to make a trip to Montreal later this year in September, that I'll check out the slanted tower at Montreal. And there was no gallery of towers in the CN Tower that I found like I did see in the Skyline Tower. So no moment of saying, hey, that tower looks familiar. But getting back, you can see the old City Hall. Make out the current City Hall, and then Yonge and Dundas around the window frames. But it's just as the window frames are smaller, as you get up, I'm gonna cut through this hallway again so I can get back to my starting point, so I can close out the video, and then I'll try to make sure I have a video going down the CN Tower, because eventually I guess I'm going to have to go down and get back to my hostel and sleep and enjoy a couple more days in Toronto, and I guess eventually March break ends and got to go back to Calgary and go home and face reality. But hopefully you enjoyed the three views of the CN Tower, the main observatory, the what I can see of the little bit of the lower observatory, and then the top, where we're over 447 meters from the ground. So I just want to say thanks for watching. If you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fans journey, just make sure you hit like, subscribe. My other social links down in the description below. I've found a way to bundle my Instagram posts together, so I've been able to kind of daily chronicle my March break from my mobile phone. So eventually I'll make these videos. So just want to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Probably, I mean, it won't be till when I get home that I'm going to be able to make my content and upload it, because the Wi-Fi is always spotty when you're on the go. But I'm on vacation, enjoying myself, and I still enjoy taking my pictures and sharing it with everybody. You know, it may inspire someone else to take a summer con trip like me. So, thank you. Hey everyone, it's Brett Hornby here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and welcome back to another bonus CN Tower walk around. This time, I waited until sunset to take a look at how the city looks at night, as it's important. It's at 8 o'clock Eastern time in Toronto. The sun has been set for about a half an hour, and this is looking east. You can see Scotia Bank Arena, Union Station, you know, the Fairmont York, and the TD Tower. It's definitely a nice view at night. Gotta work around the glare, but that's the first initial view now that the sun has set. Let's walk around. It still looks pretty dark and busy in the observatory. This is an hour before closing. This is looking towards Lake Ontario, if we can make it out. It's just I have to come in really close to get the not glary. I'll continue walk around, and that's where the top elevator and the 360 restaurant is. But I've been mostly hanging around here in the main observatory and the bottom occasionally. I already made that video, but I just stuck around to see the sunset, because why not? Halfway across the country anyway. So I'll take a look at the islands. Doesn't seem to be as much activity on the islands they would get compared to the summer. But this is the new third week of March in 2025. This is where we get closer towards looking west, as this is where the sun did set, as he always rises in the east and sets in the west. You can see that's the Billy Bishop Airport, Regional Airport. And you can see they lit up Rogers Center all blue down there. Gonna have to go work our way around. There's the time capsule and the black cameras if you were doing the edge walk. But I'm gonna have to come closer to the this side so you can see how the Gardiner Expressway looks going west. Yeah, you can get a better look there. This is looking west. The Gardiner Expressway looking towards the Totoboke, and this is Saga. Another view of the Rogers Center lit up in blue. Roof closed. I mean, we're still a few weeks away from the start of the 2025 Major League Baseball season. So I'll continue making my way around. It's definitely been worth a day, because I've been here since 1 o'clock Mountain, or East I should say, 11 Mountain, when I first came here. Heart, love for Canada. And it's now 8 p.m. Eastern, so I've been here for at least 7 hours. Just soak it all in and take in everything and see how Toronto looks from high above, as light is gone from the sun and light from all the skyscrapers, buildings, and neighborhoods surrounding Toronto. As I say, it's definitely been a nice city to visit. Not lots and lots to do, but I don't think I'd necessarily would want to live here full time, just given how busy and hustle and bustle it is. But this view is now looking approximately northwest-ish, I would say. I know this observatory service crane's been here the whole time since I've been here at that view. Let's work around more glare. Can't exactly pinpoint now, but somewhere around there, my hostel is out there in the Kensington neighborhood. And I think work our way back, we'll get the main views of I'll just say now with the night shots, I gotta come in closer to make my way around the walkway, but you can see Nathan Phillips Square coming up, and Dundas, Young and Dundas, where you can see the little bit of Nathan Phillips, City Hall, Young and Dundas with the billboards. You could say it's kind of our version, the Canadian version of Times Square in New York. I'll just continue, almost make my way back because I started where the Union Station, and that is Scotiabank Arena. Now I keep saying Scotiabank Arena like it's properly named now. Just enjoy these views looking north. I'm almost surprised they don't turn on the lights in this lobby, or maybe they'll turn it on as I'm recording, but it's definitely a lot of people have been with their content creation have had their time lapses on to capture the sunset. I've been here as long for the sunset. But we're getting back to the I just love this shot right here. As you can see, Union Station all lit up. We got the Scotiabank Place logo lit up. Actually, there is a game going on right now as the Maple Leafs are taking on the Colorado Avalanche, so you can actually do see a little bit of reflection of the game going on from the outside. But it's just this bonus walk around CN Tower at night, just taking in the views and trying to get as best pictures you can with the glare and less light. But it's been worth another day taking part in my City Pass with Toronto, and got a couple more full days left on my March break before eventually got to come back home to Calgary. So I'll close out. If you want to follow along with this Calgary Sports Fans journey, just make sure you hit like, subscribe, and my other social media links down in the description below, and I'll make them, I'll share, I'll try to find a good spot and have this thing record to go down the elevator to eventually get to ground level, because eventually I'm going to need to get down and go through the gift shop and leave and catch my bus and go back to my hostel to sleep and get up for more attractions the next morning. I still got planned to do Casa Loma and the Royal Ontario Museum before it's time to go back home. So thanks for watching. Alrighty.
Hope everyone enjoyed the views at the tower.
Oh, for sure.
Perfect.
Heading down.
So we're heading back down, 1 minute ride. You got the southeast view of the city. If anyone has any questions, let me know. Anyone's first time at the CN Tower today?
Yep.
Welcome. And where's everyone coming from?
I'm from Calgary.
Calgary,
Edmonton.
yeah. Alberta.
Yeah.
Alberta.
New Zealand.
New Zealand, Boston, and you win New Zealand.
I was here for the hockey game on Monday, so
Welcome to Toronto, everyone.
thanks. Oh, Ripley's.
The furthest place I've ever heard, actually, there was a guest that came from the Pitcairn Islands. I know most people don't know, but New Zealand would know where that is. That was the furthest or strangest place I've ever experienced.
All right, I guess that's it. Enjoy the ride down.